In this video, I would like to introduce you to oil pastels, and we're going to do imaginative landscape and using 5 basic techniques. As an inspiration, we're going to look at Canadian artists from the group of 7 who were very interesting landscape painters. Lawren Harris is one of them, and A.Y. Jackson. Both used very rich colors and somewhat abstract nature images. So you're going to start with a rough sketch of the outlines of the main forms in your landscape, and I'm going to guide you through important concepts. When you're painting landscape, you're going to have to follow certain basic rules to have a interesting and believable depth effect. Number 1 is when you're applying color, start from the background, which is the top of the picture plane, and gradually move towards the foreground or to the bottom of the picture plane. There are many different ways to blend pastels. In this case, you can try overlapping the colors and using white or another light color pastel to blend. So you're basically going over your colors and the pastel stick itself blends it. So this is a method that keeps colors very fresh and lively. I would be using the same method here, blending with the white to show the gradual lightening in the mountains. A third technique I would like you to try is using cooler colors further away and warmer colors in the areas that are closer to you. The general rule in a landscape painting or any kind of creating an illusion of space is that cooler colors retreat and warmer colors come forward towards you. So you want to plan your composition with cooler colors in the background. It will create a greater effect of depth and space. Also, you'll notice as I'm layering color into the landscape, I'm trying to carry through different colors in different parts of the landscape. That creates a more unified effect. So even bits and pieces of colors that I've used before, I add to other areas. So the water in the foreground is warm. I've chosen a bright red color. It is somewhat abstracted, obviously, but it's warm, so it's coming forward towards you. The 4th technique is using imaginative color palette to give your landscape a unique perspective, and that's exactly what we're doing here. The colors are not realistic necessarily, and yet they create a strong emotional effect and a somewhat unique image. Whether you're a beginner or an advanced artist, I encourage you not to be afraid to try something new. It's often a common goal for students especially to strive to represent reality or reproduce it, imitate it In my opinion, an artist from the very beginning must be a risk taker and have a fine balance between following the techniques and creating their own vision, not being afraid of their own interpretation of reality. You can see how I add bits and pieces of purple throughout the composition, a bit of a pinkish color in the mountains, so everything becomes a bit more united, and I suppose it's a bit more abstracted as well. The warm colors in the background in the sky bring the sky forward, closer to you. You can almost sense that, while the cool colors of the mountains and the tree line go further back. We have an icy effect of moving away from you. So the final fifth technique is distant objects are always smaller and less defined, while objects that have are in the foreground are closer to you. They have more contrast and more detail. This is another rule for creating an illusion of space or depth. So your grasses or bushes, shrubs in the front of the painting, which is the bottom of the painting, are going to be more detailed, have more contrast, and be more in focus, while the background is a little more washed out and less defined. So the middle ground there with the forest tree line needs to be darkened a bit to have a gradual sense of space. So the mountains should be further back. And I've also used another rule, which is light against dark and dark against light, as you can see, to have things stand out more. So these are the basic techniques that I'm trying to illustrate here in this landscape. And the landscape also is not realistic. You probably already know in my videos, I like to have more original looking pieces at the end. So I'm always looking for ways to make it less traditional and more unconventional. I did use a piece of tape on this watercolor paper along the edges just to give it a nice white border at the end. I hope you enjoyed this presentation. I do want to make more videos. I would love to know what you're interested in, what kind of videos to make. I appreciate you watching this, and please subscribe, leave some comments, and thank you for visiting. Please come back again.